Well, that's a lighting look. I don't know what the lighting's going to do in this video because, as you can probably guess, it's coming in through my window and there's a tree, the sun is going down, we're not sure. Let's just pretend this is some sort of cute circa 2012 Instagram filter and get on with the video. Hi everyone, Rosie here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to my August wrap up. I know, I say it every single month, but excuse me, it's the end of August? Where did this summer go? What has happened? We don't have time for an existential crisis though, so let's get to the books I read in August. The first book I want to mention is actually a redaction from July. At the end of my July wrap-up, I said I was reading L'élégance du hérisson by Muriel Barbery. That's The Elegance of the Hedgehog. And I was about 40% of the way through, but I anticipated finishing it soon. That did not happen. I just was not in the mood for that book. So I've actually DNF'd it. I'm very proud of myself. It did sit on my currently reading list for all of August, but I just was not in the mood. So I said, you know what? No, I don't need to finish it. That is the slight correction from last month's wrap-up. Let's get into what I actually did read in August. By the way, I'm terribly unprepared for this and my notes are a mess, so all of the authors and stuff will be in the description and I will mention them for anywhere I remember them, but my brain is kind of like lint right now, so I don't remember most of these and I didn't take the time to look it up because I'm lazy right now. But like I said, it'll all be in the description bar if you want specific information about any of these books. So the first book I read in August was called Pressure Cooker, and it's something along the lines of why home cooking won't solve our problems, blah, blah, blah. This was a really interesting nonfiction book about the various barriers that people face in cooking more at home and a little bit about what can be done about that. I have a whole vlog about it, which I will link up here. It's an interesting book. If you think, oh, why would people struggle to cook at home and you can't think of anything, then this might be a very interesting read for you. I suspect for a lot of you, it will be a very much like it was for me. It was interesting, it was well written, it was well done, but I didn't find it super wow, this is groundbreaking new information. Do with that what you will. Second book I finished in August was Interesting Times by Terry Pratchett. This is one of the Rincewind novels, so it follows the failed wizard Rincewind. I'd actually never read this book. I thought I had read all of the Discworld novels, but apparently I hadn't, so that was really exciting. I really enjoyed reading this one. A mysterious message arrives from the Counterweight Continent, which is this mysterious place that no one ever visits and no one ever hears anything from, asking the Great Wizard to show up, and for reasons that make sense in the story, the group of wizards decide to send Rincewind, basically because they're like, none of us want to go. So they pull him off. He's been happily living on a deserted island for years and just this is great. This is the best his life has been. And they pull him off there and drop him into this continent and adventure ensues. This was a really fun book. I mostly read it just for relaxing. You guys know I never take good notes on Discworld novels, so I don't have anything critical review-y to say, but it was really fun. Very pleasant surprise to read one that I hadn't read before, and so to not know where the story was going, I really liked that. And yeah, very much the comforting read that I wanted in August. Next up, I read The Thursday Murder Club by someone whose name I forget. Again, it'll all be down below. This is set in a, I think, fairly nice retirement facility. I get the impression that this is not your standard retirement facility, but retirement home, I don't know, this place where old people live in the UK, and there's a group of 4 people from various backgrounds and stuff, but they meet up every Thursday afternoon and try and solve cold cases. This is one of their little retirement activities that they do. And then murder sort of shows up on their doorstep and people start dying and they say, well, we're gonna solve this. We can help. We're gonna take this on. We're gonna take on the case and solve what's going on here. So that was super fun. I don't know. I love the premise. The characters were really, really well done. Obviously, I'm not old, but I felt like all of them felt like actual old people without feeling like stereotypes of old people, if that makes sense. This wasn't the 5-star read I wanted it to be. It was a solid 4-star read. I really enjoyed it. It was really gripping. It was really fun. I thought maybe there was a bit more murder and a little less detecting than I would have liked. I think it could have been cool if one element of the crime had been removed and we'd seen more of them actually figuring things out. I think that would have been nice. And while I liked all of the characters, one of them is a former spy, and that just it didn't work for me. Not that I think former spies don't go on to become old and then live in retirement homes necessarily, but more that it was a bit of a MacGuffin, and any issue they had or any time they needed to find information, it felt very much like it was just, and then this character called in a favor from an old friend, or, and then this character used some contact that she had from her working days, and then we get the information. Instead of them actually having to use their skills in a more mundane way, like I think it could have been cool if we'd seen them use more like skills and knowledge in a unique way, if that makes sense, as opposed to just, this was literally my job and now I'm doing it because I know people and they'll just give me things. But the second book is coming out, I think in September? It's definitely this fall, and I'll definitely pick that up and read it because this was really, really fun. I'm really interested to see where the author takes the series from here, and if you like a murder mystery, this one was great. I also read Like Water for Chocolate this month. That is by Laura Esquivel. This is a historical fiction, family drama, romance book with recipes, and I have a whole video where I failed to talk coherently about it, so I'll link that up here and not make the same mistake twice and just move on to the next book, which is Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain. This is his memoir about, I think it was like he'd spent like 25 years working in the culinary world in restaurants at this point. Some of it as a cook, some of it as a chef, and he sort of talks about his experiences and what the restaurant industry is like and all that sort of stuff. This is a really interesting book. I really enjoy it, and I think Bourdain does something with how he writes, and I don't fully get it, where he can write things that are enjoyable even when you want to have an argument with him about it. Like, there's certain of his stances that, like, I don't agree with you on this, and I feel like we could have a discussion and, like, try and figure that out. But it's still very enjoyable to read. I think we're going to do a live show for this because this was part of Book Buffet, which, I'm such a mess. All of the food books are because I was hosting a readathon this month, in case you haven't been on my channel in a month and haven't seen all the videos about it. It's hosting a food writing readathon with some other lovely ladies, and all the information will be down below, I guess, although it's over now, so whatever. Anyway, this was our group read, and we're gonna have a discussion live video at some point. When I'm filming this, we have not yet decided on a date/time for the live show. If it hasn't happened yet, when this goes live, I'll try and put it in the description. I don't know, keep an eye out. I'll try and let you guys know, but as you've probably noticed, I'm a bit of a mess right now, so no promises. But if I don't let you know beforehand, then I'll let you know after the fact. Actually, just follow Kim and Amrita and Amy because it'll be on one of our channels, and that way you'll definitely see it. Keeping on the food train, I then read Accidentally Engaged by Farah Heron. This is a contemporary romance novel with fake engagements and hiding engagements and real relationships and food, and it was super cute, and I really, really liked it, and I filmed a whole vlog about how much I liked it, so I'll link that up here. I made a lot of videos about specific books this month, apparently. Then I read Gastro Obscura by Cecily, Wong, and I think someone else that will be linked down below. This was an e-arc, so thank you to NetGalley, and I think it's Workman Publishing Group is the publisher. This is like, I don't even know how to describe this book to you guys. It's like, it's divided up by part of the world. So there's like one chapter for Europe, one chapter for Asia, etc. And within that, there are short, like little, usually half page, but some of them are full page entries, explanations. I don't know how to explain it. About, maybe I'll put a screenshot or something of one of the pages over here so you can sort of see what I'm talking about. We'll see if I'm that organized. About different food and food traditions and food stuff from all over the world. And it was really, really cool. The information was very interesting, although of course not very in depth. It's definitely more broad. Definitely a fun book if you're looking for like new things that you've never tried and you've tried a lot of things. This would be a cool one to pick up and flip through and like try and find new things that you might want to see if you can get. Next time I can plan any trips, I will definitely be getting this out and flipping through the relevant section just to like see if there's anything I want to do, because so many of these I read the entries and I was like, that sounds amazing. I want to do that, or I want to eat that. It was a beautiful book. Like, the layouts and the images are gorgeous. I would definitely recommend, if at all possible, get a physical copy. I had a PDF and I read it on a quite large iPad, and it still wasn't perfect. Like, it was totally readable, very enjoyable still. But like, this book is made to be on a coffee table. It's made to flip through physically, and it shows. So especially if you use like the small black and white Kindle, do not try and do this on an e-reader. I don't think I would have been able to read it on my Kindle. Just a word of warning, but definitely check it out. It comes out in September, I think, and it was great. This next book I actually haven't quite finished. It is Girly Drinks by an author who I forget. This was another e-arc, so thank you to NetGalley and Harlequin Trade Publishing. This is like a history of alcohol from a feminist lens, or like a history of how women have interacted with alcohol, whether that's brewing alcohol or consuming alcohol or whatever. As I said, I haven't quite finished. I have 2 chapters out of 14 left to read, and I don't fully know how to rate it still. I think this is going to be a 3-star book for me. I don't usually mention star ratings, but like this just feels very 3-star to me. The concept is great. I like a lot of this, but it just doesn't quite hit the mark for me. Like, it's very good, very readable, don't want to DNF it at all. It isn't great. The tone is very snarky, very humorous. I love that. And I think the sections that are written about what women in general are doing, or like the general state of women's relationship with alcohol, those I find quite well written, quite good. For the most part, there's some where I was reading it and going like, I feel like I need to check sources on that. And I don't like feeling like I need to check sources because I'm doubting things. Anyways, on the whole, the parts about like general social movements and things like that, fairly well written, very engaging, enjoy them. But there's also a specific woman who's highlighted in each chapter. It's done by time, so each chapter is like about a certain time period, and there'll be general information mixed with one woman's story. You know, some of them are like distillers or brewers or women who famously drank, or people who are influential in some way in this sphere. And those specific women's stories are kind of hit and miss. Some of them are good, some of them were well written. Some of them feel a little too like, yes, queen, we stand a girl boss who drinks. And they just get kind of grating. Maybe that's just my bias, I don't know. But some of them feel a little too like, we're so focused in on one side of this person that like, we're not addressing this with the complexity and nuance that we should. And yeah, this is not a book about any one of these individual people. None of these people is explored in super great depth. But for some of them, I think it kind of leaves things lacking because it doesn't give a full picture, or it feels very much like we're giving a very biased picture of this person. And I don't know how I feel about that. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's my own prejudices or something influencing how I feel about this. But some of them I'm just like, this could have been done better. So overall, I think the tone was great. The content, fascinating. Personally, I would have liked the analysis and like discussion to go a bit deeper, get a bit more into the topic, be a little less surface level. Now, that might be personal preference. I just don't think this went into enough detail. And I think the structure could have been a bit better. Because each chapter had like lots of different things, it tended to jump around a lot, and sometimes it worked, and like the contrast of the jump really highlighted, I think, what the author was going for. And sometimes it just felt like random paragraphs slotted in together. I'm not saying that everything needs to be perfectly linear or anything, but it takes a certain writing skill, I think, to jump between topics, and I don't think that was always present in this book. So overall, interesting book. If the topic sounds like it would interest you, check it out, but I'm not sure it's the best one. And then I have one more book to talk about for my August reading, and that is Frying Plantain. This is like, I guess, a novel in vignettes. I'm not sure what we call it exactly. It follows a young woman who's Jamaican Canadian from, I think, around the time she's in elementary school through her graduation from high school, as she like tries to find her identity and find her place in the world. I was listening to the audiobook. I listened to 3 out of 13 chapters, and I'm not DNFing it. I am going to finish this book. I'm still excited about the concept. I'm still excited about the book. I just don't like the audiobook, honestly. The narrator doesn't really do anything for me. It doesn't quite work. And it's a type of writing and a type of content that I just find uncomfortable in audio. There's certain things that I prefer to read on a page. Like in the 3rd chapter, which is I think the last one that I listened to, there's a scene where the main character, it's been like 3 weeks since I listened to it, so I might be a bit fuzzy, but there's a scene where it seems like the main character is about to be sexually assaulted, and listening to that is just like, can't do it. I've realized that any sort of book that contains that sort of thing on audio, I can't listen to it. I don't know, I can read it on a page and it makes me uncomfortable, but like on audio, I hate it so much. So eventually I will return with the digital version of this book, but for now I'm putting it aside because the audio didn't work. All right, those are all the books that I read in August. Let me know down below, what did you read? I hope you had a good reading month. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you would like to see more of my videos, please hit subscribe, and thank you for watching.